Manual mode, no presets allowed. Candid frames break through the crowd. Light chasers, night gazers, exposure brilliant. Vahagraphy, the art of battle and resilience. Film or digital, doesn't matter the tool. Vahagraphy style, making pixels rule. Dynamic range, capturing soul in sequence. Glow truck clicks, beyond earthly pretense. Vahagraphy, freeze moments in flight. Pixel levels, aiming for the sight. Flash pop, shutter drop, world in a blink. Memories inked in digital ink.
What's good, guys? Welcome to Bokehs, episode number 11. Shout out to Scott Scufari for making that song for me. Love that song. You did a hell of a job. What are we talking about today? Well, first of all, we are talking about you guys hitting that like button. Hit that like button. Show some love to Bokehs. What I'm doing here every Thursdays, 9 a.m. in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. Thursdays, live stream podcast. You can stream this over at YouTube Music app. Turn your screen off if you're driving, if you're working. Listen to this live or pre-recorded. And live on YouTube, of course. So how you guys doing today? Today is a gloomy day here in Southern California. I hope everybody's doing very, very well out there. A couple of things to discuss today. The Nikon Z5 II. We're going to tackle that. We're going to talk about the Z5 II. We're going to talk about the price of the Z5 II. How it, competes with the other models in the lineup as far as the price and the features. And also, if you're going to be getting this camera, if it's something that you want, so if it's something that you want in your lineup because you have other options as well, if it competes with the other cameras, how well it does, so on and so forth. So what's going on, Albert? You're the first one here. Hello to all from Queens, New York. Hello, Albert. Hope you're doing well out there. Having some internet issues this morning here in the studio. How's the stream? Hopefully it's not getting chopped up too much. But how you guys doing? So I found out, I was looking at the different cameras available today. And I was looking at the prices, factoring in the rebates that you get and the savings. Okay, there is an aggressive savings for the Z6 III right now, which is $400 off out in B&H. I didn't know that camera had an aggressive discount like that, but Z6 III out in B&H is $400 off. That's crazy. Which one are we looking at? Is it this one? There you go. Z6 III mirrorless camera, $2,096. You save $400 on B&H. So with that, original sticker is $24.96 for this camera. With that fact, $1,700 for the Z6 III, guys. The Z5 II, $1,700. So, hey, man, it makes you wonder, $2,100, $1,700. Hey, Matthew Card, how you doing today? How you guys doing today? New Yorkers here. We got New Yorkers in the house. Fellow New Yorkers. Hey, I watched a movie last night called The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. Here it is. Not the modern version. This guy. Watched this movie last night. Pretty cool movie. 1974 New York. 1974 New York. And And movie making was great back then. You feel a sense of like time travel when you watch movies like that in the 70s and stuff. It's pretty cool. The lenses they use, the acting is not overly done. And I love movies from the 70s. You know, I love movies from the 70s. Anyway, New York, there it is. The drunk wedding photographer Mushi Mushi is in the house. What's going on, guys? So, given the fact that the Z5 II is $1,700, will you be getting that camera? What do you guys think? What do you think of the features? What do you think of? Is it an entry level camera for all the features that it has? Excuse my energy level, guys. This is day 2 of my lifestyle change, and I feel a little low energy today. So excuse that fact. When you cut out the sugars and the breads right away and the sodas, you crash. So that's what I'm feeling right now, but it's going good right now. Hey, how's the internet connection, guys? Let me know in the chat how the internet connection is. Is it choppy? What's going on with the internet? You guys will, if you guys want to join me, David, if you want to join me, anybody that wants to join, I'll put up the link so you guys can join. But yeah, excuse my energy level, guys. I crashed. Yesterday I put out a video, if you don't know, explaining my new lifestyle, my new goal, personal goal, and that's what I'm doing right now. Day number 2. Every week you'll get an update from me, how much weight I lost, and talking about my experience, how it went. So I'm just low energy today. What's better than your Z5? The Z5 II? Oh, hell yeah. That's a lot better than your Z5 II. I mean, your Z5. NLC portraits. Albert, Matthew, David, NLC, Tara. Hey, Tara. How you doing? Hello here in Finland. Taro, how are you doing today? Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm on track to losing 30 pounds myself, so right there with you, brother. Good, man. Good. I read some comments yesterday that really inspired me in that video I put out yesterday, and it seems like some, guys are joining. Guys are taking the challenge with me. If I have some time, I'll go over some of the comments that I got that were inspiring. And this is what it's all about. We need to inspire ourselves, to do it. It's time. All right. There you go. Just got back from the gym. Well, you're stacked, brother. You're jacked. Yeah. How many hours do you work out, bro? An hour a day? 5 days a week? Doing the same and trying something different. Okay. Let's see. Z6 III gets end of the year bird detection. That's cool. Oh, that's nice. I got bird detection on my ZF. That's pretty cool. So I got bird detection. I got some nice features on the new firmware on my ZF. Now I have the ZF, guys. Do I really need the other cameras, the Z5 II and the Z6 III? I'd like to have a Z6 III, but my ZF does it all. I mean, I like my ZF. It's in that category and it's retro. So I don't know, So again, guys, I'm kind of like that's what happens when you cut the sugars and you cut the coffee. I could drink black coffee. I kind of don't want to, but Sorry, I got a text. I kind of don't want to cut the coffee, but I don't want to drink coffee, caffeine. And if I can do without coffee, because your body gets addicted to that kind of stuff. And I like coffee, but gotta get that too. Um, let's see. How's you guys this morning? You guys are welcome to join. Let me go in and put that link here. Let's see if anybody joins the live stream here. But let's see here. Is it Z5 II good enough for sports? With the new processor? With the new processor, I'm thinking sure. I mean, it's got great autofocus, I think. So I think it's good enough for sports, the new processor. And I'm guessing it's pretty much the same as the ZF and the Z6 III right now when it comes to autofocus. Now, frames per second might differ with that new camera. So here in Finland, Z5 II costs 1,990 euros and Z6 III costs 2,750, about $800 difference. Here in America, currently, as we speak, it's an $800 difference when you go on retail. But when you go and you factor in there's a sale going on right now with the Z6 III, $400 off. I wonder why they're discounting that thing right away, right off the bat like that. $400, that's pretty aggressive. That's pretty good. That's B&H. I wonder if I wonder what the prices are here at the Nikon USA. Let me check real quick. Mirrorless cameras. Let me go ahead and share this screen with you guys. Give me 1 second. Share screen. Mirrorless camera. Share. Okay, so here's a Z5 II 1700. Z6 III. Yeah, it's $2,100 currently. And there was a report out I read somewhere in June. Nikon USA, Nikon in the United States, they're preparing to raise their prices. So yeah, it's $2,100 right now. The Z6 III, $2,100. So pretty much you get a little better with video features on this new camera. You get a bigger HDMI output plug. What else do you get with this? You get a couple of other features like the EVF is brighter. But other than, obviously the CF Express Type B, which is a big deal for some people. With the Z5 II, you don't get that. You get SD and micro SD, I think. So my ZF is the same way. I don't get the XQD card. And that's okay for me. I kind of wish it had an XQD card because those cards are much more robust. And, I like them better. But some people don't mind having the SD card on the Z5 II. So when we go to the Z5 II specs here, they're offering limited time offer Lightroom for get a 1 year subscription to Adobe Lightroom, 1 terabyte plan with Nikon Z5 II purchase and registration. So you got to register the camera, buy the camera, and you get 1 year Lightroom. So it's not bad. Whatever you can get, I'll take, right, guys? Whatever you can get, you'll take. Let's see here. Okay, so let's see here. I want to know what the speed is in this camera. Digital camera with support interchangeable lenses, Nikon Z mount, effective pixels 24.5 million, sensor size, full frame, CMOS sensor. Let's see. I know you don't get the 4K 60 on the Z5 II with video. I know you don't get that. You do get that on the Z6 III. You get a way better EVF versus the Z5. You get a new processor. Let's see. Is it entry level? You think this is the entry level? It is full frame entry level, but you get a lot of things with this thing. Let's see. Type electronic. I'm trying to find how fast this camera is. Let's see. Continue shooting speed at full resolution, 30 frames per second. I'm thinking that's electronic, and that's JPEG. Yeah, 30 frames per second with JPEG at full resolution. But I want to know what it is raw. 4 times approximately 15 frames per second when silent mode is on. Approximately 14 frames per second. Continuous high speed. Okay, so continuous low, approximately 1 to 7 frames per second. Continuous high speed, approximately 7.8 frames per second. 9 point frame, approximately 9 point frames per second when the shutter type is set to electronic front curtain shutter, approximately 10 frames per second when the silent mode is set on. Continuous high speed extended, approximately 14 frames per second. The high speed frame capture 15 C30. My C30 feature works great on my ZF, and that's JPEGs, but still 30 frames per second electronic. Continuous high speed, and continuous high speed extended specs using on image quality setting other than NEF RAW. So yeah, I mean, it's not going to be as fast as the Z8 Z9, obviously, but you do get a mechanical shutter with this camera. And I like having a mechanical shutter. I like having that option for this type of camera. And ENEL15C batteries, which are my ZF Z6 batteries, which is good. You get a tilty screen a flippy screen versus the tilt. It's a lighter camera than the Z6. And so that one. So we were having a discussion, me and Z-Wade, we were having a discussion about tilty versus flippy screens. And I told him for my use case, I like flippy screens. I don't know. I just use them more often. Maybe because I shoot video with these cameras for the channel. And my use case, I use the flippy a lot. Tilty screen, sure. With the flippy screen doing photography stills, it takes some getting used to. If you're shooting up top or down low, obviously it's off to the side. But you can get used to it. It's not really a big deal, in my opinion, having a flippy screen when doing stills. Right? It's not really a big deal, in my opinion. I have a lot of use case when it comes to the fact that the Z5 II or the Z6 III or the ZF has that flippy screen. In the past, I would say I don't need that, but after owning a camera with the flippy screen, I change my tune because I use it and it's really comes in handy. I like the fact that when I press record when doing video, I can see the actual screen, the camera, and I can see that the squares lit up in red, and I know that I'm recording, and that's really cool. And I could see the focus points tracking my face, my eyes, and it does a really good job. I mean, the camera does a really good job, and I'm talking from experience using the ZF. Okay, I'm coming from the ZF because I own that camera. I've had it for a year and I love it. So I'm not. The thing is, the Z6 III, the ZF, and the Z5 II. Although I don't own the Z6 III, yeah, the Z6 III is faster. Although I don't own the Z6 III, I'm guessing that these three cameras are a lot alike. Okay, a lot alike when it comes to autofocus. Am I wrong? Who in the chat owns both cameras, the Z6 III and the ZF? Let me know if they're a little different. I'm thinking the autofocus performance is a lot alike. So, that said, man, the new cameras with the new firmware and the new processor do an amazing job with autofocus tracking. Nikon pretty much corrected all those issues, in my opinion. They corrected a lot of issues. And with Neil's question here, is the Z5 II good enough for sports? It's good enough for sports. Is there something better? Sure, the Z8 and Z9 when it comes to sports. However, there's some drawbacks to this. Some of the drawbacks using a Z8 and Z9 is that you don't have a mechanical shutter, and that might cause flicker in some of your backdrops, especially when you're shooting sporting events with big screens. You might see, cause an issue with the display. You're not going to get that with mechanical shutter. Though the Z8 and Z9 do not have mechanical shutters. There are workarounds around this. You can try changing your shutter speed and inputting the frequency rates in the menu system and all that stuff. But pretty much when you use mechanical, the Z5 II, the ZF, and the Z6 III all have mechanical. So you're going to eliminate that issue. Sure, you're not going to get 20, 30 frames, 20 frames per second raw. You're not going to get on any of that with these cameras that I mentioned with mechanical shutters. But is that okay for sports? So you're going to have to weigh your option, Neil. It's something you're going to have to think about. The Z8 and Z9 don't have too much of an issue with banding. The stacked sensor that the Z8 and Z9 have, pretty much, I say eliminate that bending of the ball or bending of the bat. I don't know. Do you guys experience any of that using the Z8 and Z9 these days? I haven't experienced any of that. Because those cameras don't have mechanical, you're going to have to, think about that a little bit. You're using 100% electronic shutter. So, you want speed, you go with that. You want something that's dialed down a little bit. And plus, the Z8 and Z9, different cameras. They're built differently. They're bigger, they're heavier, they cost more money. They're more for like the ultimate pro, pro photographer. I'd buy a Z5 II just to have, if you're having issues with screen sport events or anything like that, and concerts, I'd have a Z5 II ready to go just in case you can't eliminate that issue in your images. So, yeah, you just bust this camera out and there you go. So, no. My take on it now is the Z5 II an entry level at $1,700. Sure, it's full frame, but do you think that it's a little too much for being an entry level option? Because I know other manufacturers have entry levels, less money. However, you don't get jam-packed features like the Z5 II has. I think this entry level Nikon is like the Superman of entry level full frames right now, because that thing's got a lot of features that Canon's entry level doesn't. Of course, Canon's entry level is an older camera, obviously. So I'm sure. No, I'm not sure. It doesn't say that. I tried to read how long the sale lasts. It doesn't say that. Now, there was a report out that Nikon's about to bust their prices up in June. So that there's that, so I don't know. I think they're in limbo right now. I don't know what they're planning on doing. I know there was a report out Canada has some rebates, But I was looking at Canada's rebates today, and they're the same as Nikon USA. So no difference there. It's weird. I mean, it's weird what's going on. So yeah. One second, guys. Yeah, sure. Yeah, then. So yeah, there's that. Um, I don't know. You know, the more we have a lot of options here. It's just you got to weigh your option as a consumer, as a photographer. You have to weigh your option. What's more important for you? You know, that's what I did. You know, when I bought the ZF because I thought it was a cool concept. You know, they did something special with that camera. I know I do not want them to come out with Mark II. Sorry, I'm being selfish. It just adds more value to the model that you own. Do you agree with me? Like, do you agree that having a one-off camera that's just on its own with no Mark II, Mark III just adds value to this camera? Look at the Nikon DF. Didn't get an upgrade, and everybody wants that camera today. You know, so yeah. Do you agree with me? I mean, I don't think they should touch that camera, but I bought the ZF because I thought it was really cool. I wanted to try it, and we have the new technology in there. It's really, really nice camera. And the body, no one talks about this, but the body it feels good in the hand. I mean, yeah, you get used to it, you buy additional grip, whatever, but the material used on that body is excellent. It's excellent. I mean, don't drop it, obviously, but let's see. I don't know how long the sale lasts, Neil. Sorry, it doesn't say. Yeah, Taro says Z6 III is faster. It is. I work out for an hour at the gym 5 days a week. Well, that's great. The greatest obstacles for me are diet and nutrition, especially given my age, which requires discipline. Yeah, man. And you live in New York, so a lot of good stuff to eat over there. The delis, the pizzerias, yeah. I mean, you walk into a damn mall or you walk into like restaurants, there's nothing healthy to eat. There's really nothing healthy to eat. I mean, you have to really kind of like go for the salad option. That's boring, but hey, I'd rather have I'd rather have results than indulge in that 5 minutes or 10 minutes of like pure carb joy that you get with eating bread, sodas and stuff. But then you're back to square one again. So I'd rather have the results because that makes me happier at the end of the day, right? If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'm trying to lose weight, and this is day 2. And I want to motivate all you guys. And I saw comments saying, "Man, I'm disgusted at myself. I'm with you. I want to start this challenge with you." So I can't fail for me, and I can't fail for the viewers here because how will that look? Very helpful. Thank you. Yeah, well, you just have to kind of like just weigh your options, man. There's plenty of reviews on these cameras online. You know what? Best advice I could give you, Neil, because they're 3 different cameras. Go hold them. See what they feel like. I kind of like the ZF viewfinder. I like that it's a little rounder than the Z6 one, which is square or rectangular shape. I kind of like that round, piece that you get with the ZF. So go and hold these cameras, see how they feel, how much they weigh, mount a lens on it, mount a big lens on it, see if it's uncomfortable with the 24 to 72/8. I mean, just see what the balance is with camera lens. See where the dials are, you know. See what the stutter sounds like, I know that stuff is all important for me. If I hate a bad sounding shutter. Like I just hate a bad sounding shutter. I can't get over that fact. I just hate it. When a shutter sounds dull and boring, I don't like it. I purchased a D new in 2022, but sold it a year later. Why'd you sell it, bro? You didn't like the heft? That's a great camera. Yes, I agree. For sports, I would say again. Matthew Card says this, but Matthew, you realize something, brother. Um, yeah, not everybody. First of all, not everybody wants to spend the money. Yes. Now there is a rebate on on the Z8 too, and the Z9 as well. You get $500 off, I think, with the Z9, and you get some money off on the Z8. So, but again, it's going to cost you more money to own. There's no electronic shutter. I mean, mechanical shutter on these cameras. A lot of guys that do shoot sports don't need all the features that the cameras have. They just want good autofocus, a decent, frames per second, a good buffer, and they really don't need video. But all cameras have video. But like the Z9 and the Z8 have all these video features that shooters are not going to use. Internal 12-bit, I don't know what, this and that. Are you going to use all these features? So, or if you F mount, use D5 or D6. Yeah, obviously, man. If you're an F mount shooter, D5, D6, D3, even D2H, even. Don't listen to me. The D2H is an old camera. I mean, if you didn't watch the fire video I put out where I went and just took pictures of the aftermath of the LA fires in Canyon, I used a D2H, and I wanted to see what that camera is all about now in 2025, and it didn't disappoint. 4 megapixels, great camera. But I'm not used to the screen. You can't really use the screen for anything because it's just very low quality. I'm talking about the D2H. But yeah, the D5, D6, like Matthew Cart says, is amazing. Those two are amazing cameras. Even the D4, I would say. Don't forget the D4. In that, let's see, Riyadh. Hello, been using a D850 for years and still happy. Considering, however, to get something like a Z6 II solely for using focus peaking for my manual lenses, doing street photography. Yeah, you can get that camera for a lot less money. I mean, even the Z6 original, made in Japan, the original 2018, that started this whole mirrorless thing for Nikon. Even that camera is awesome. I saw one the other day for like $650 used. I was like, damn. I mean, $600 for a full frame is sure. I mean, with low shutter count, you can really score with these cameras. You can use that. You can pick up a Z5 original. You can pick up a whatever. I mean, having something on the side, and by the way, it doesn't really bother your D850 experience because you could just have one lens on the side, have your D850 and your lenses, and use both. I use both all the time. There's nothing wrong with using both. So great comment, Riyadh. Welcome. Nice guitar, by the way. What are you playing? Stairway to Heaven? Let's see here. Black coffee is the best hunger suppressor. Yeah, I know it is, but then you got the caffeine, dude. You know what I mean? Like, if you can go, through your day without caffeine, injected in your body. Yeah, and the coffee gets addicting, though, Albert. I know people, and including myself, if I drink a lot of coffee and then one day I don't have coffee, I start having headaches. That happen to you guys? I mean, that's just a withdrawal symptom. Yeah, but the Z8, Z9 are designed for sports with their quick response. Yeah, they are. They are. They're designed for sports. I mean, like I said, you might have these issues with banding and flicker, but I love my Z9. I love my camera. I mean, I love that camera. It's the top of the line mirrorless Nikon camera. Like I said, you can get away with using the Z6, Z5, ZF nowadays. Before we used to complain about, oh, these cameras don't have good autofocus. These cameras don't have this. These cameras don't have. But now we do. Now we do, right? Now what's there left to complain about, guys? With Nikon haters, tell me what there's left to complain about. Lenses? We got lenses. What is left to complain about? there's two holes in the lineup right now: the Z7 III, and I'm thinking the Z500. But what do I know? And then I want that dedicated box camera, which I would have loved for Nikon to call that a ZC, Z Cinema, just to have that miniature kind of FX3 camera. That'd be really cool for wedding shooters and filmmakers. But that's a pipe dream, I think. Let's see. Sam, oh yes. I let a friend borrow a ZF. He wants to buy from me, but I think I'm gonna take it back and get him a Z5 II instead. Standard model design just doesn't inspire me, and I know I will enjoy the ZF more. So, Sam, welcome to the live stream, by the way. Happy to have you. And the picture, is that a picture of a portrait that you took, or are you a female? I don't know. But welcome to the chat. We don't get too many females in here. But if you are a female, welcome. If you're a male, welcome. Doesn't matter. But anyway, my point is the ZF is cool. The ZF is retro. And I kind of have to agree with you with kind of having a side camera like a ZF. And I agree with you. The coolness of the ZF is unmatched. Some people don't like those dials. Some people don't care for them and go buy a Z5 II. But you let a friend borrow the Z5 and he wants to buy from me. But you should just say, hey, you know what? Well, first of all, don't lend your cameras to anybody. You haven't watched my video on that, Sam? Don't lend your cameras to anybody. I rather lend people money than my cameras. You know why? Because you never get them back. You never get them the way you got it. You never get it back the way you lend it out. You know, I know the way I treat my gear, and I know the way I baby my gear. When it's your gear, you treat it differently. But when it's somebody else's, is it worth it? What is worth it? Sorry, yeah, it's worth it. Kissing, I don't know what you're saying, but yeah, it's worth it. I'll hop in 10 minutes. Yeah, dude, you got the link here. Here's the link, bro. Let's see. I use my old Pentax 6.7 as a weight for my arm exercise. I'll do the job. That'll work. Yeah, I have to leave in 10 minutes to head to work. Well, thank you for joining, Matthew. I really appreciate you. Somnath Chakraborty. I probably butchered your name, bro. Somnath. I bought it today from India. What did you buy? The Z5 II? Congratulations. How do you like it? Let's see. Is it worth it? The Z5 II is worth it. $1,700. I think that's what you're saying. It is worth it. Or a D850 or D500 if you want non-pro big all in one body. They have the same focus system as D5, but do not have the quick response as the D5. Good point. They're all good cameras. Thank you, Matthew. What everyone I've seen online want is a ZD500. Not everyone, but that'd be nice to have that R7 camera with better focus and better new features, a bigger body, 33 megapixel APS-C. Why not? It's an amazing camera I use today. It's awesome. Yeah, I bet it is. I think Somnath is talking about the Z5 II who used it today. He got it today. Congratulations, brother. Had the same withdrawal symptoms. It will take 5 days to overcome it. Yeah, and I'm scared to drop the cigarettes because I'm gonna have even worse withdrawal symptoms with that, man. I quit smoking once, and I literally put myself to sleep because I couldn't take it. I was shaking, and I needed nicotine. I know I'm not gonna chew gum. I'm not gonna buy Nicorettes or whatever. I just want to quit cold turkey. But once you get over the 5 day, 3 to 5 day thing, I mean, that's it. You're good. Plus, if you know what you're doing, you can sports with all of them. I shoot sports with these D200, and before that, a Nikon D5, Nikon F5. Hey, you know what? Um, Matthew, if you're still in the chat, someone wants to sell me a D200 for $75 with 3,000 shutter count. Should I buy it? I'm kind of like I'm liking that CCD idea. Never lend anything to anybody. Exactly. Taro, ZF is no good for wildlife. My choice is Z5 II or Z6 III. 24 megapixels enough for me. Yeah, you get 24 megapixels. You get 24 megapixels with the ZF. But yeah, for wildlife, of course, the dials are different. It's a different camera. I wouldn't buy that for wildlife, but you can get the job done. It's got those new features on there. I'm privileged enough to be able to give away stuff frequently to friends, community, but I get your point. I just prefer to have the cameras used by others when it sits. That's a great attitude. That's a great attitude to have, Sam. You know what? It just depends where you're coming from. You know, if you're privileged enough, that's great. Hey, if I won the lottery and I had all these cameras and I wouldn't care what happens to my cameras and I don't have to shoot to make a living with my gear, yeah, give them away. But that's great that you do it. Everybody has a different point of view about gear. I know I heard people say, and it's true, they're just mechanical things that can be replaced. But our health, our well-being, our health is the most important thing. And if that makes you happy, go for it. I kind of agree with you, that these things all can be replaced. So we shouldn't be too, the only thing is I use my gear for work. I just don't want to like lend something out, get it back and not working properly. And then I'm screwed. That's the only thing. If I was just like a hobbyist, maybe I'd lend it out. I lend out like my older stuff, like that I don't care about. I lend that out. It's a great attitude to have, Sam. I like that. I like that a lot. So it was part of my question. Is it worth getting a mirrorless camera solely for using focus peaking? Yes and no. You can look, bro. You can buy a mirrorless for a lot less money, right? You can buy a used mirrorless camera. I suggest you buying like an older Z6 I, for a lot less money, just for mirrorless. I mean, you still get 24 megapixels with that thing. Just for those two things that you want, and full frame. I'm assuming you want full frame. Get an adapter. You can mount all your f-mount lenses to this camera. You necessarily don't need to buy lenses anymore. You have all that stuff with your D850. Just get a Z-mount adapter, Z to F, and there you go. What's up, bro?
Mushi. Buenos dias. Good morning.
What's going on, bro? Thank you for joining. Focus Bokehs. David, the drunk wedding photographer.
In the flesh.
How you like the conversation so far, bro? Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm turning up the volume.
How do you like the conversation so far we're having?
Yeah, pretty good. In fact, now I feel bad because I was going to jump in and say I have a few Nikkor lenses for sale. But then Samo said, "Oh, I would give them away." I was like, "Oh man, I feel bad for saying I'm selling them now."
No. I mean, like I said, bro, everybody has their situation. But hey, if you need to sell, you need to sell. I sell and buy all the time.
Yeah, it's because I'm thinning out my gear. Like I figured I'm just gonna keep the essentials. Like this morning, I did a test with my 20 millimeter 1.8G. With the Micro Four Thirds 12 millimeter. So it's an equivalent of like 24. And I edited the same way and they look identical. I couldn't tell the difference between one or the other from full frame or Micro Four Thirds. So I'm going to sell this big lens. There's no point of keeping a big expensive lens if the small lens.
So wait a minute. So what are you selling so people know? You're selling that. What else?
Well, right now I'm selling off the top of my head, I'm selling an 85 1.8D, a 20
Uh,
1.8G, a 24 2.8D, and I have some other 50 1.8 first autofocus versions right now on
Are
my
you doing
eBay
only
store.
local sale? Are you doing local sale? Or are you doing like shit you could ship? You want to ship?
Well, everything's listed on my eBay, but if you
Oh,
find
okay. So it's,
something and you're local and you want to drive up here or meet me halfway, even better.
how about
No
this? If
tariffs
anybody's
on used equipment.
you're funny. How about this? If anybody's interested, let them email you. Drunk wedding. What was your email again?
David at thedrunkweddingphotographer.com.
There it is, guys. That's if you want interested, go ahead.
In
Email
fact, you
David.
know what? Here, I'm gonna forgot how hold up. I have to look myself up.
And if
We'll give
you
you
mention Vahagraphy's Focus Bokehs, you get an additional 20% off, right?
yeah, with you gotta use the promo code.
That's cool, man. So I mean, I know you're into these old cameras and the older DSLRs. You follow all the new stuff too, right? Like you
Yeah, I
follow
do. I
Z5.
do. Yeah.
So what camera from the three piques your interest the most? ZF, Z5 II, or Z6 III? I mean, look, dude, they're all
Mm,
around the same. Uh, okay, they're all around the same price range, like
yeah.
almost, right? If you factor in rebates, if you factor in this, by the way, you get $200 off the ZF today. So that brings it right around the Z5 II mark. So, like, and then the Z6 III is 2100 with the rebate or discount. I don't know what it is, but it's $400 off. And I'm pretty sure you're familiar with those three cameras. Which one? I mean, I
Somewhat.
would think the ZF would pique your interest, right? The most.
Yeah, the ZF. I would be more interested in the
Yeah.
ZF just for the look.
Yeah. That fits your style more, right?
hmm
So
Yeah. Oh, and so I had a DF, right? I purchased it new like right before it was discontinued, and
yeah,
I used it for a year, took it to Mexico. But you know what I didn't like was the fact that it didn't have and this is gonna sound crazy and illogical as to the reason why I sold it. But you see these older cameras, they had the closest subject priority autofocus right here. There's a little switch right there. See, so
yeah,
there was an era when Nikon cameras had that feature. It was the D2H, D2X, D200, D300, D700. I think the N75 had it, the F6, and I think also the D70 had it, and I think maybe the
mhm,
D80.
yeah,
And then when the D4 series came out, they got rid of that feature. And it's a shame because I noticed that when I photograph my chickens, you know how they move around really quickly. It wouldn't track them. So because I couldn't
yeah.
photograph my chickens with a DF, I sold the camera. And I got the D700 because it has close subject priority where it focuses to the nearest thing that it sees. And okay, and there is a logical explanation, like a professional reason. So in receptions, you know, sometimes it gets really dark. And I, being the drunk wedding photographer, sometimes I'm a little tipsy, and you just kind of set it and forget it. Like you set it to close to subject priority, you point and shoot, and for the most part, it's 90% accurate. So that was the reason why I sold the DF. But the colors are really beautiful on it. So if you can get your
Yeah.
hands on one, do it.
Great sensor, Scott. What's going on? What's up, Scott? Give you a shout out for that song you made earlier. So yeah, I mean, like I said, man, I have the ZF. Will I buy a Z5 II? Is that the entry level? Those are the two questions. For me, like Sam made a good, she made a good point. Like, I want my ZF back, but I might just buy one for the person that I lent. You're a
Yeah.
very generous person, Sam. You know, but you know, is it consider the entry level? Sure. Is that an entry level price? No. Does it have great features for the price? Sure. I like it. I mean, I think Nikon needs another full frame, kind of like a real entry level one, just to like, wet your beak a little bit with full frame mirrorless. I mean,
Yeah.
$1,700, and then we're not even talking about tariff or marif or whatever, but but I think they need something around a $1,200 option, like 1,100 full frame, 1,200, something like that.
Yeah.
For guys that want to, like I said, wet their beak, they really don't want APS-C. Although the Z5, the C50, and the ZFC, Z30 are good cameras. I know guys that shoot full frame. So
Yeah, and that whole debate with the sensor size, it's really when actually piggybacks to this comment right here on the color science. As Albert knows, and as everybody knows, for color is everything to me. So it doesn't matter what the format is, as long as I can get good colors. That's what I care about. And so again, like to go back to what the little test that I did this morning between the full frame and the micro four thirds sensor, I got the exact same colors off of, but after editing and putting them side by side, I couldn't tell the difference. So yeah, like that whole debate of like, oh, you can't get bokeh on micro four thirds is hogwash, because all you got to do is just get like the right lens.
yeah, I mean, by the way, Scott, this is hilarious. You gave your 7-year-old daughter my D7. That's wow. That's a great start for your 7-year-old daughter. I mean, that's a great toy. That's great. Get them started young, in photography. If anything, a hobby, see if they're into the whole college degree thing. And I mean, look, obviously there's things you can do. Like there's people you can become that to make a lot more money in life. If somebody asked me, hey, can you be a millionaire doing photography? I'd say no. They're very, you can't get super duper, super uber wealthy doing photography. Your heart and soul can be wealthy, but as far as monetary goes, you can get by and you can make a living. There are obviously exceptions to the rule, that very famous photographers do, but hey, and you might like what you do, right? You might enjoy it, so I enjoy it. That's what I do. I just wasn't into the school thing with getting a degree and going to like becoming a lawyer, doctor. I couldn't really do that. So anyway, that's another topic for another podcast for another YouTube channel. But I honestly don't know why they marketed the Z5 II as entry level. The line between entry level and pro gets blurry as technology improves. Yeah, I mean,
and it goes back to the argument you had a while ago for like what is a flagship camera. It's like it kind of feels like maybe a flagship doesn't exist anymore because they all pretty much share the same technology, same sensor. Outside of the build quality, I think that's really the only contributing factor that would make a flagship or a not pro body or a
I mean, I have my own thoughts on flagships. I always consider the unibody Nikon most expensive camera the flagship.
Yeah.
To me, flagship means their iconic camera. Like the Mercedes flagship is their S class.
The S class, yeah.
Versus the C class. Are there more expensive Mercedes out there? Sure, there is G-Wagon and all these other Mercedes, but that's their flagship. But yeah, I mean, to each his own. The Z5 II has so many features that you can pretty much get away with pro shooting with it, all day long, and video too.
Yeah.
I think we're at a point in technology where things are changing so fast that these cameras, I think firmware is more important. They're starting to be more important these days. And they can do so much with these mirrorless cameras these days that you don't really need a new model. But and how long do these mirrorless cameras really last? That's another question. We don't know yet. You know, Nikon 2018. It's only been 7 years.
Yeah.
So my
Well,
Z6.
I have this Olympus EM1, which is from 2012, 2013, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, there you go.
there's a way to check the shutter count on it. And I actually put a little bit extra of what it's supposed to be worth because it was, low shutter count, and it's still going strong. So, who knows?
That's I'm not too familiar with that line of cameras, but that's mirrorless. So
yeah, it's mirrorless, and it was this was actually their first pro mirrorless camera. And it's made of
Wait, when
metal.
did it come out?
2012.
When did it come out? Oh, so they beat the Sony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was
Sony's
the first one.
2018.
Yeah,
but Sony was
feels really hefty. Like it's a small camera. See, compared to the D700. See, like it's a lot tinier.
Sorry, no. Sony had the APS-C mirrorless before the 2013 full frame. I'm talking about full frame, launch of mirrorless cameras. And even if you go back, Leica had beat them all. Leica had their rangefinder is considered mirrorless. I mean, I think that's a mirrorless camera too.
Yeah.
Right? The M8, the M9. So
pretty much.
Yeah, so let's see. Nikon 7000 camera is fantastic camera and one of the most underappreciated cameras ever made. Yeah.
And again, to go back to Albert's comment on the Olympus color science, the reason why I like this particular one is because it has a Panasonic sensor. Supposedly, it's the same sensor as the D700, just in a smaller package, at least from, what the research I've done. And this was the last camera that had the Panasonic sensor. After that, Panasonic got out of the sensor game. And then they went with Sony sensors. So that's why I keep this camera.
Dude,
well, that's why I wanted it and kept it. So
I have very good memories with Panasonic. I used to own a lot of camcorders, 90s, those built-in VHS camcorders. They were cool, man. I used to have VHS decks, mixers.
Nice.
Man, I used to shoot wedding video with the Panasonic video cameras, camcorders.
Yeah, in fact, that TV I have in the background right there is a Panasonic TV from 2008, 2009, I think, or 2010, around there. And I refuse to get rid of it because the colors are so rich and poppy. Like, I watch, that's how I watch my DVDs and Blu-rays. So it's a 720p resolution. So if you watch Blu-ray 1080p, it can, what's it called? It scales down to 720. Oh, and it looks gorgeous. Beautiful colors. And I refuse to get rid of it. I don't want to get rid of it because the new TVs, the 4K TVs, they look like a reality show, if that makes sense. Like you watch a movie and it has that reality show look. Does that make sense? Like,
no, I get it. Charles, good point. He had the J1, which is Nikon's first 2.7 times sensor. I have a V1, so I know exactly what he's talking about. And then he had the NEX system, Fuji X Pro 1, 10 years old and working. I can't keep Canon anything more than a few years. The only thing with mirrorless, bro, let me tell you, all mirrorless is the same camera without a mirror, basically.
Yeah.
The only difference is that there's two screens on the camera instead of one screen. You get one screen in the EVF, you get another screen outside. Also, the size and weight factor. Camera brands have to compact these things so tight to make these cameras light and small that it has so much technology in this little space that these cameras are prone to damage. So when I say how long will it last, that's what I meant. Like how long durability. I'm sure if I get the same amount of abuse I give to my D5, to my Z9, that it wouldn't end well with these mirrorless cameras. I don't know. I don't want to try it, but I might be wrong though. But be willing to bet that if you drop a mirrorless camera, it's not going
It
to
won't
work the
survive.
same way.
No, it won't survive.
Yeah, you're
What's
done.
kind of like it's like comparing them to new cars. You know, they have all this tech and screens and hey, man, I would love me a new car, but you know, they're just so pricey. No tariffs on used cars. I'm going to be on the market for a used car soon, so I've been doing a lot of research on
the
cars
hybrid
lately.
finder. Yeah, no, I mean that X Pro is a great camera. I used to own the X Pro one, and yeah, I mean it's not going to be like a Leica rangefinder. They can make it that way. It's not as accurate as Leica, but it's a great camera regardless. Nikon and Panasonic are kings of it for buck as of today.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta get more versed on what Panasonic Lumix is doing, right? Lumix. Man, there's some really good there's some really good press on these new Lumix cameras. I mean, people are really loving them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. I mean, people are really loving what they're making, and the famous GH series of cameras that videographers love. Yeah, it's Micro Four Thirds. Right? It's Micro Four Thirds.
Micro Four Thirds. I love Micro Four Thirds.
That's good. I'm a big sensor kind of guy. I'm a big sensor kind of guy, bro. Like you can't convince me. I like big sensors. I like full frame. The other stuff is cool and you can use it, but you just something about full frame, better in low light. I don't know. I just like full frame. Sumo, what's going on, bro? I love my D50 and D6. That feature seems to be fragile in later models. Oh, you mean the optical viewfinder? Which feature? I choose mirrorless, the weight savings, body and lens, especially PF lenses for Nikon for wildlife. Yeah. No, they're great. We're gonna do this podcast.
I don't know, man. Like with mirrorless, they promised us small lenses, and it just seems like the lenses are getting bigger and bigger.
They have to be, man. You can't really cut corners when it comes to that, though. I mean, that's just science. Science. I mean, you want a 1.2 lens, it's gonna have to be that big Goliath 85-1.2. I mean, you there's no way around it.
Yeah,
you can't beat science, just like you can't beat Mother Nature. Right? It just doesn't work. Father Time. It's just the way things are. Can they design something? I mean, they've been designing things, better lenses, faster, sharpness. But again, are there drawbacks to the new lenses that we're getting? Sure, there is. I'm not a big fan of focus by wire. Like, I'm not a big fan of that, especially when you're doing manual focus. It just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel accurate to me. Ever use the Z macro lenses? Doing manual focus, they don't feel like the original f-mount lenses because they just don't. They're focused by wire.
It doesn't have that hard stop, right?
And plus, it's electronic. Like there's no like it's focused by wire. It doesn't matter where you're at in the focus ring. It's like almost seems fake. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
But that's my opinion. That's why I like these older lenses, because I like the action, I like the feel, I like doing it myself. I like big sensors and I cannot lie. Yeah. I mean, but that's where we're going in today's times, guys. There's nothing we can do. I mean, that's many people say that Panasonic sensors produce better 3D pop than Sony sensors, and lots of people who use vintage optics feel the same way.
Yeah, I agree with that, and that is why I use the 700 and the Olympus EM1 for that Panasonic sensor. The colors,
There's a guy that's offering to sell his D200 with like 3,000 shutter for like $75.
Yes, do it. 3,000? Wow, that's nothing. Because the one I purchased had 9,000, and I paid 200 for it. So yeah, that you're getting a very good deal. Matter of fact, who is he? Let me buy it. Is it in good
Yeah.
condition?
Yeah, he's got 2 actually for sale.
Oh, nice. Yeah, do it.
So I don't know. What am I going to do with all these cameras? I mean, the only thing is it has a CCD. That's the only thing that's
Yeah.
kind of like make you want to just go. It's not about the money. It's about the drive. You know, it's all
Yeah.
the way up in where does he live? Like, not that far, I guess, but you know, Latuna Canyon, off Latuna Canyon
Latuna.
in Sun Valley.
Oh, down here, down the street from me.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I live in Palmdale, so I got to drive down to LA for 1 hour. So anything under 1 hour is down the street for me. So
He's an older man that I was talking when he's like, can you call me or email me? No text, because he's an older guy, right? So
Yeah.
I called him. He's moving to Thailand and he's selling all his old stuff. You know, he's got a bunch of old lenses. If you go to Craigslist and you go to LA and you'll find it, just search D200, you'll see a list of lenses he's selling. He's selling a 135 f2 AIS lens
Ooh.
for $300 and some dollars. I used to own a Minolta. Was it a Minolta? I think it was a Minolta. Like the lens was radioactive, and the glass was yellow when you looked inside.
Was it the
Roker
Roker 58 1.4?
I used to own that one too. I used to own that
nice.
one too. I don't know if it was Minolta, the one that I'm talking about. You look at the glass and it was yellow inside.
Yeah.
I used to own that. I sold it. I used to own the Rocker 58 1.2. That one I sold too. I used to own that lens. But there are lenses that are radioactive and I use them. But we're gonna cut this show off in about a few minutes, Dave.
Yeah.
Because I have to go. I have to do a shoot. Get ready for it. My original intent from this podcast and this live stream was about an hour. You know, about an hour is a good time. You know, it doesn't hog up a lot of time from people's days. They get the whole show in. But then when you have conversations with multiple guests, multiple people join, it's like it's hard to stay within that hour. But today it looks like we're going to be following suit. So
yeah, I just want to
I don't know,
jump on and just say I'm sending my gear. So if anybody's looking for old Nikon lenses,
yeah, there you go. Like they have the info there, so check it out. But
I also
what
put
else?
the link to my eBay on the private chat, so if you can put that on the comment section, see if anybody.
Hold on.
And obviously, we don't have to go through eBay. We can do it locally if anybody here is local. So
There you go.
thank you.
There it is, guys. There's the link. So check out David's for sale, his photography garage sale that he's having on eBay. And I like Soviet lenses. I like the Helios lenses.
Yeah, you know, actually, I wanted to get one of those, but I found a little toy lens for the Micro Four Thirds that gives you that same look. But I had to buy like 3 of them because they kept coming in with oil in the blade. So, you know, eventually I was able to find a good one.
Dude, they're cheap. You can buy them for like,
they're like
20, $30.
Yeah, they're pretty cheap. Yeah.
The famous 44-2 Helios 58 millimeter f2 lens.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the holy grail of, you know, that. Not because of the money, because of the bokeh effect.
Yeah, that swirly bokeh.
The swirly bokeh. Yeah, I have that.
Mm-hmm.
I have that, and I have a couple of others, and I have the Z mount adapter to it.
Oh, no way.
Screw mount. Yeah. Screw mount 42 M42.
It's just tricky because you have to have like the right background for it to work.
Yeah,
it doesn't work on everything.
It's a cool lens, man. Like I said,
it is a cool lens. Yeah,
it's a cool lens. So yeah, no, Z5 II, guys. Like I said, man, that's a great camera, and Nikon does need something in between the APS-C line and the Z5 II. They need something in between there. And with the new tech, well, I don't know, maybe dumb it down a little bit. I mean, obviously, you want to cannibalize your other stuff that costs $1,800. to 2000, it doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
Business sense. So maybe offer like, I know what would you cut out? Like, well, what can you cut out? What's the $1,200, $1,300 buyer want? A full frame, but necessarily they don't need like, all that other fancy stuff. I don't know. It's
See,
a
and,
hard
and the problem
decision.
is when they start cutting down features, then you have the trolls on the internet saying, "Oh, it doesn't have this and it doesn't have that," and it's like, well, it's not
Yeah, it
meant
doesn't
to.
have this, but that's true. But it also doesn't have the price that
Yeah,
you're comparing it to other cameras. I mean,
yeah.
we go
That's
all
kind of what I hate
day.
about like modern reviews is that they compare whatever camera comes out with like the top of the line of that particular brand. It's like, well, it's not meant to be that. Kind of like
Oh
that
yeah,
Sigma camera. Do you know what I'm talking about? That new Sigma square camera,
yeah.
that little pocket camera. Yeah, like
Mhm.
it's getting trashed on because it doesn't have all these other features, but it wasn't meant for that. It was meant to be a minimalist camera. I won't buy it, but yeah,
People always want flashy features, even if they don't use them or intend to buy.
yeah.
Exactly, bragging rights.
Mhm.
They want it. They want it. They don't use it. They want it. And why does my camera have that? Someone probably complaining that Nikon doesn't record 8K open gate or something. If Nikon does, they'll complain it's not 12K. Yeah, open gate's kind of cool. But I'm not gonna complain about it. It's kind of that new camera that does that. But
Yeah,
uh, again, man, I'm happy with what I got.
same
And
here.
these features, the same. I wanted to say that you can't sit here and compare a Z9 to like a Z5 II.
Mm-mm.
It's just not gonna work. I mean, yeah, they share a lot of the same features, but it's just a different camera, different workhorse, different money, different body. You're not gonna get overheating issues with the Z9, hardly ever. You might
Mhm.
get it on the Z8. You might get it on the Z8, but not the Z9. But then that's the price you pay. Like a lot of people think, oh, you're just getting a grip with the Z9. That's not the only thing you're getting. You're getting bigger body, better in heat. You're getting a lot of other things that people don't think about. And for me, how it feels in the hand is more important than anything else. Like
Yeah.
if it feels good in my hand, I like it. And the Z9 feels much better in the hand than the Z8 for me. Don't kill me. I think the Z9 feels better for me. What does that do? It makes me want the Z9 more than the Z8. So
What also makes you want to use it? See, that's
it makes me
that's
want to
the other thing
use it.
because
And
if it doesn't feel good in your hands, you're not going to want to use it, and then you're not going to improve your photography. So yes, gear does matter.
yeah, and plus with all these bigger glass, I
Yeah.
think the Z9 balances better with this 2.8 lenses and 1.2 lenses than the Z8 does. It just
Mhm.
balances a little better to me. I'm a big dude. I like
Yeah.
big cameras. That's just me. Is it
Yeah.
right or wrong? It's not about being right or wrong. It's
Yeah.
about being personalized to my
Yeah.
taste.
And I'm the opposite. I prefer smaller cameras and smaller lenses, muffin
Yeah, there you
lenses.
go. Yeah. It depends on what I'm shooting too. If I'm out
Yeah.
there in like South Korea doing street photography, I don't want Z9.
Yeah.
I don't want to be using a Z9, right? I want to be
Yeah.
using a ZF
Mhm.
with the small lens, 40f2. By the way, that lens, it's really cool. Um, yep, exactly. Then they will want a sub-cyclic normal assert zerotron for those moments of uncertainty. It's way above my pay grade, but I don't know what you're talking about. You want to tackle this? Let's see. I want my camera to overheat. I have to heat up my lunch somehow.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. All right, guys, let's end this
All
thing.
right.
Thank you for joining, David. You're a rock as always, man.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you
awesome.
for having
Thank
me
you for
on.
coming on, and everybody in the chat. Focus Bokehs, episode number 11, live podcast. Stream it on YouTube Music anytime, and also live here on YouTube, and watch it anytime here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, guys. Hit that share button, hit that like button. And thank you for watching, guys. I had a great
Oh,
time conversating with all you guys in the comments. And okay, thanks. Hitchhiker
wait,
Guide
and
to the
see,
Galaxy.
I'll give them another reference. So long and thanks for all the fish. You'll get that one.
Wait a minute. So hey, okay. I see. The thing is that my mind was on tech stuff, and I was trying to think. Okay, is he saying something about sensors or something like that? So, anyhow, First Life. Thanks for the nice show. Well, welcome back. Welcome, Sam. First live, and hopefully not your last. We'll see you next week. Same time, same bad channel. Thursdays, 9 a.m. Anybody's welcome here. And if you guys are in the chat, think about maybe joining one time. Hit that link. Let's have a conversation on here because I want to hear, I want to see what you guys have to say too. Thanks, guys. Rock and roll. Rock and roll, David.
Yeah.
Have a good day.